Yeah, nah, I am Elin Reeves, and today I'm at Lake Ocean View in Painesville, one of Painesville's hidden gems, and I'm with the CEO of Capital FM, that is Chris Wolo. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm very good. Thank
It's
you.
really nice to have you.
I'm good to be here.
Yeah, okay. So let's just jump right into it. What actually got you into radio?
It's a very, very interesting story. I don't even know how I got into radio.
Oh, wow.
Really. I was just at the right place at the right time. I've always been passionate about radio and what the data. I'm a creative. So what fascinates me most about radio is the freedom to be creative and also to impact lives. I think whatever we choose to do, whichever career we choose to dive into, it should be one that will impact lives. And I think that's one of the reasons why I decided to do what I did.
Okay, so that's also your inspiration for being on radio? What inspires you the most?
To affect change. Nothing is more satisfying than giving back to people.
Yeah.
If you understand the power of radio, how powerful a tool it is, you know that when people are touched by what you do, when they are inspired by what you do, there's nothing more gratifying and nothing more satisfying. I'll give you a little story. Back then, many years ago, I was sitting at a restaurant and there was an argument going on, heated argument. And this person kept saying, "Listen, I heard it on radio. Chris Wolo said it."
And they had no idea.
And I was seated right there. And I was, many years ago on my radio, and the guy was saying, and the owner of the restaurant knew me, and he used to look at me and smile. I'm like, what if I had said something wrong, provided some misinformation? Imagine, and I was being quoted. So, there's nothing more. There's no greater feeling, than seeing that you are infected. Impacted life somehow.
Okay, and how would you describe radio then when you started as compared to how it is now?
So much has changed. I'm going to get in trouble with this, but I don't know. One thing I've noticed, and if I can gauge from the remarks I've heard from people, is that I think most people who are on radio today are self-taught. They're into it, quote unquote, according to them, because of the passion. But it takes a lot more than passion. It's a serious work. People, lives are changed. Country go to war because of those on radio.
True.
So if you understand the importance and how powerful a tool radio is, you will not do and take it as lightly as it is being taken today. I think people just one of the major tools you have to be well read. You have to be master the English language, very articulate, very eloquent. You have to be very confident. There are a lot of things that are needed to be an on-air personality, and sure. I'm afraid a lot of that is missing right now. I hear people say, "Oh God, we don't hear the likes of and they call names." And I give you. I always tell my staff that if I'm still getting gigs and I'm off the radio, that means something is wrong.
Yeah.
Because this profession is personality driven, and if you're not behind the microphone anymore, your time has elapsed. It's now who is on the radio and what they're doing. But if they can remember and say, I get gigs like MC, I get gigs to serve as moderator and what have you. And I'm saying, I've had people come to visit the state. I've been off air for close to 10 years. And if people can come to my office and say, I want you to host my program, I want you to be on the radio, I'm like, no, I have people to do that. You're insisting that I do it, that means something is missing. I mean, something is not done properly. Something, yeah. So I think the people on the air right now should see it not just a place to just entertain, but there's a lot. A lot more goes into being an air personality, and I think that's the major difference. Then it was not just a profession. It was not just for passion. It was because we understood what needed to be done, and we did what had to be done. You know, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I just see people just want to be on the radio. Just want to. There's a lot. For example, if you do an entertainment program, people just think it's about playing music. There's a lot more to than just playing music. There has to be a thought process that goes into preparing for the program. Yes, you're going to play music, but you have to think about what am I going to do, for example, in an hour. What am I going to do? What kind of music am I going to play? And if I'm going to play this kind of music, how am I going to play that kind of music? For example, is it going to be, am I going to start mid-tempo, or am I going to start slow and build the tempo up? Or am I going to start high and then come down? It's this whole process, and nobody just want to listen to music.
Yeah.
There has to be you have to give them a reason to listen to that program. So you have to do a bit of research. You got to read. You have to, it's a lot of work. And I don't see that. I see people just going in studio just to talk. If you want to talk, anybody can talk.
Sure.
It's what you're going to talk that matters, that separates you from the rest of the people on there.
Yeah, and I think also people see the media these days as like the easy route to.
It's
like,
not an alternative.
It's not.
If everything else fails, let me try radio. Let me
Yeah.
try the media.
So I think that's like the key problem.
Until we can change that.
Yeah.
Until people get to recognize that this is a serious business. You know, it's a profession that is serious. Then, but I think we'll get there. We'll get there.
Gradually.
We just need to. People have to understand. For example, I remember when I started back in the days, to see the inside of a studio, it was like that meant you were ready. That's the sanctuary.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the nerve center of every broadcast entity. So you don't just go in there. Now people go in there to take pictures.
Oh yeah.
It's now become a photo booth. People take photos and say, I work for this station. No, it's not that. You know, the last place you enter, that means you're ready. And you don't get on radio to experiment, to say, oh, you won't go read announcements. No. It's not a place for learning. When you go into read, because you educate people when you're on the radio. So if you're not ready, don't sit there.
And I'm a living witness to this. I remember my internship in 2016 at Truth FM. People were like, interns don't just enter the studio.
No, you shouldn't.
Until you really prove worthy to enter. So if you enter, then
that means you're ready.
Yeah.
You're going there to work. You're going there now because you're ready not to be heard. You know.
Yeah. So prior to you establishing your own radio station, did you work with other stations?
Yeah, I was at ELBC many years ago.
Okay.
The pinnacle of radio in Liberia.
Yep.
And then I worked at On-Air Radio for 10 years, where that was it, isn't it? You know, where you work with some of the best in the business. I had a mentor who was radio. He breathed and talked radio. And I worked with some of the best colleagues in the world in Liberia. You know, so yeah. And then after that, I left the mission, and I thought, you know, you can only affect change if you mentored people. You know, and because I listened to a lot of young broadcasters, and one of the complaints is that no one is there to mentor them. No one is there to the transition.
All right, so what's your take on mentorship, and how is it like important to the whole field of radio and journalism?
It's very important. I can't stress it any more than that. I think one of the reasons why there has been this gap, there has been this lack of this, for lack of a better word, this poll showing so to speak, in the performances of broadcasters. It's because there has been the lack of transition, that smooth transition from one to another. So nobody's there to mentor them. And trust me, since I started, there's none more fun than that. You know, the whole behind the scene, to see something that you nurtured and it just blossom. You know, there's no big greater feeling than that. It's you know, once you do that, it stops that mediocre performance in what we're seeing currently. People have to learn that there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut. I understand why there hasn't been mentorship. Yeah. You know, the profession isn't as lucrative as it should be, which is understandable. But even that, I can argue too, is that it is, depending on how you carry yourself. Don't forget, it's personality driven. Yeah. If you as a person do not grow, you do not develop, you haven't marketed or branded yourself properly, you're going to be like everybody else. Yeah. And there's always room for improvement. So see it as opportunity to sell yourself, to excel. And you can only do that by being good at what you do. Do not, I tell young people, do not set your bar too low. Don't think that I want to be like Chris Wolo. Chris Wolo shouldn't be the highest peak for you. Aim higher than Chris Wolo. You know, you should have mentors and role models and idols from the BBC, from the best. Yeah. You know, don't just only admire what they do. You have to learn about how they got to do what they're doing and what drives them, what's the motivating factor behind them being good at what they do, and just be whatever you can. Learn as much as you can learn about them. Because when you do that, you now model your life on them. But don't forget one thing, and it's important, that is, don't forget who you are. Okay? Because when you get carried away, you become someone else. I'm not saying be someone else, but use them as a guide to be better at what you do.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of radio stations you worked at before you could establish your own. Which would you say is like your favorite and why? Which was the best one? Your first choice?
Both. Oh, that's a tough one. But they're both unique in their own special way. I was at ELBC during the very trying times, and I think we played a very effective role because it was during a crisis. Yeah, there was a little bit of peace, sanity, but I was there for like 3-4 years, and I had some very good tutors, very good mentors. But Old Mill was just another level because it was a conglomeration of the best Liberia had to offer. Yeah. You know, we just, it was just what someone would describe as a dream team, and just having to work with them was just unforgettable.
Okay, yeah. So when I got into journalism, I was told that it's a jealous field. And I did have some experiences from people who I thought should have been my mentors, and it was actually proven that saying right. What would be your take on that? Is it supposed to be, is it natural to be, is it normal?
It is, and it's not just that, it's also a stressful field. If you can't deal with pressure, then you can't be in that profession because it's time bound. You're on the time. It's real time. It's getting things done out there, and you know it's competitive. You know, competing with others, and you know, trying to get the right message across, trying to get the news on time. It's on the move, yeah. And the reason why it's a jealous field, you got to be a bit. You see, when you're being ambitious, you have to be a bit jealous. You have to not, but. I would hasten to add cautiously, you know, constructive jealousy, so to speak.
That's the word.
Because you can't be the best at what you do when you are sharing and all giving and you know you have to guide your little corner. I remember many years ago when you had music, you wanted to be the first to play. And it's not just being the first to play, but making sure that you're the only one that had it. When you think you had played it enough, then you say, okay, either you can share.
Yeah.
Because you want to be the first. You want to be the guy who made this song popular, the guy who drove this agenda.
Yeah.
You know. So hey, there's nothing wrong with being.
Okay. All right. We'll take a short break, and then when we get back, we'll dive deeper, and we can call this a day. Yana, I'm Elaine. Welcome back, and I am with the wonderful, talented, and very unique Chris Wolo, a veteran radio personality who is still making impact in the industry so far, and is very admirable. So welcome back. It's nice to have you once again. It's an honor, actually.
Thank you.
All right. So, what if you weren't like into radio? What would you have been doing?
Marketing.
Marketing?
Yeah.
Oh, that came easily.
Yeah.
And why would you be doing marketing?
I just admire the fact that the whole idea of convincing somebody, talking to them and letting them know that this is better than this. You know, that's whole interaction. That's that game of wit. You know, I just like the intelligence, the whole intellect, telesia, if you know, for lack of a better word, the whole idea of just trying to convince somebody. I just find it fascinating.
Okay. And how do you think the internet has impacted
So
the
much.
radio?
Gosh, so much. Good and bad. A lot of good when it's used well. I think the whole idea of letting people know what's happening in real time, and the whole fact that there's proliferation, that you know you can just from your click of a phone just know what's going on. And the beauty of it is that if you are very passionate about what the profession is, you now afforded a lot more space to learn as much as you can learn. You know, just from the click of a phone. Now, you know, the information is just there. It's how someone used to say many years ago. One of my many mentors said, "You can the computer gets you what you want. It tells you what you want. It's not the other way around. So if you're not inquisitive, you will not get what you want. So yeah, it's I think the presence of internet is online is so amazing. I mean, I'm talking to you right now because of that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Sure. So who would you say was like your greatest or most desired interview, and did you get the person?
That's one of the beauty of this job, what you're doing. You get to talk to all kinds of people, all walks of life. I've talked to presidents, influencers, musicians. Oh, gosh, I mean, I've done that, you know.
Was there this specific person that you really wanted on an interview, and did you get the person? Who was that?
Some, I don't know. I don't know if I went seeking out, but I got virtually everybody I wanted to talk to.
Okay.
One of the most memorable was the late Dr. Emma Sawyer many years ago. And I made him I used to do a program many years ago on Unme Radio called this government thing.
Yeah.
You know, Liberian Palace, meaning the government thing.
The government, yeah.
And actually it came from another program that we had during the elections, 2005, that was very impactful. UN thought that we needed to keep that program. It was called Devoting. So, and then after the elections, because of the success, it became the government team. And I remember, and it was done in Liberian colloquia. And I remember talking to Dr. Sawyer, of blessed memory, and at the break, he said, "Young man, what did you learn?" You know, he used to be a broadcaster many years back. And he said, where did you learn this? I'm like, he said, you're good, man. You know, you're very good. You really, really made me at ease and blah, blah. And that couldn't have come from a better, I mean, you grow up looking at this statesman
Yes.
and marrying him, and now he tells you you're good at what you're doing. It can't get better than that. You know, and, you know, some of the greatest arts that Africa have known, the Genevieve Nenji, Debange, gosh, and it's yeah, having to talk to them and hang with them.
Yeah.
You know, you go home and then your mom knows that you're an important person. You know, you get called in the middle of the night. People ask you, "Excuse me, Mr. Wolo, yeah, let me ask you something. Young man, your way. There's a heated argument. So,
Yeah.
the man on the phone. Yeah, let me ask you, that. And you know, you have to answer, and then you mean it, I say, yeah, and then the whole, you know, yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, trust me.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. What would you say, or what would you term as your greatest achievement in this profession?
Making young Liberians into professionals, professional broadcasters. Oh, yeah. You know, the behind the scene work, I love it so much now that I don't want to be in front of the camera. There's so much fun being behind the camera. There's so much, you know, tutoring, mentoring, making sure that, you know, I enjoy that. And I just seeing after everything that Ellen is doing well and she's respected, people are talking about her. I mean, it can't get better than that. For me, that's the reason why we're in the business we're into. Yeah, I think that's my biggest achievement, to be able to mentor, to be able to set up Capital FM and just be that vehicle. And then tomorrow, the Grace Weir, and others, Romeo Togba, the many others can say, oh, thank you, Papi.
We're passing this on.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
All right, so finally, what's next for you? Because I feel like you're gradually, I wouldn't want to say you've retired because you, as you said, you still
I think I have.
You still get gigs and you still take the gigs.
Yeah, I still take the gig because, you know, you need a kudos now.
I know, you always need it.
It can get old. So,
No.
yeah, but at least, I mean, I don't consider myself into mainstream anymore.
Okay.
And I think the more, I'm glad to be sitting with you. I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
If
Okay,
the more
you're like
of,
my Emma Sawyer.
the more of the more of you, if the more of you that step forward to do this, then we can take the back seat. But at least I told someone I've got a lot of pressure to get back on the radio. Lots of pressure, even from my wife, from everybody. You have to get back on the radio. And I said, no, you have to know when to take the Jesse off. And I think it's your time. It's the young people time. And as long as you can continue to step forward and do a good job and then make sure that people don't miss us, I'm good. I'm good. So continue to do what you're doing. Don't let them miss us.
Okay.
And I don't want to hear that, oh, Mr. Wolo, that, when you're on the radio now. Yeah. What you're doing good. I'm good.
Okay. So that's it for you? That's like, what's your future plans? Are you just going to keep mentoring us?
I can't stop mentoring. That's what I'm going to do. There are a lot of other stuff I would like to do, which I'm going to keep close to my chest. I'm a card player. You don't, show your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, impacting, whatever way, it has got to be impacting lives. Giving back to Liberia the best way I know how. I mean, this is our country.
True.
Any way we can contribute, it has got to be something that will give back. I want to give back until I'm called. Even if the giving back will give me more money, at least I give it back.
Oh yeah, you giving back, you getting what is a win-win. All right, this has been a very inspiring interview, and I'm so grateful that I got to do this with you.
And it was good having me, talking to you. I think just listening to you and this conversation, I know there's create a future for the field. We are leaving the field in very good hands.
All right, and I hope I have another time with you sometime in the future. This has been a
You
great
will.
time.
You know.
Great.
Knowing you, this is like what, our third interview?
Yes, this is the third.
It's going to be a fourth, I'm sure.
Okay,
In the
cool.
next couple of weeks.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know. I know that. Obviously. Good. All right, so thank you so much, and until next time.
Thanks for having
This has been
me.
a wonderful time,
Thanks
and
for
have a
having me.
nice day.
Thank you. Thank you for showing me this area.
Oh yeah, it's
I've
a
been
cool
here
spot.
all this while. I've never been on this side.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. All right, thank you so much. This is all the time we have today with a radio veteran, Chris Wolo. Keep following the Liberian Heritage Society on Instagram, on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Until next time, I am Ellen Reeves signing out. Yeah, nah.